Hi guys, welcome back to my little corner on booktube. So today we are gonna talk about my bookworm origin story. Okay, how did I even get into reading in the first place? And I started reading like consistently when I was in grade 4. So this is when I was like 10 going on 11. Yeah, so 10 11 years old, and I started with these books that like my aunt gave me, the Judy Moody books. I don't know if any of you guys on the internet are gonna know anything about Judy Moody, but I started with Judy Moody and I really liked those books because like the main character, she was weird, she was a tomboy, and I was obsessed with the idea of being a tomboy at that stage, even though I wasn't really properly a tomboy, but whatever, I was obsessed with the concept anyway. So Judy Moody is a tomboy. She is a if I recall correctly, she's also a bit rude and she's weird as well. I love that she was weird, and she loves to hang out with the boys, you know. Yeah, very interesting person. Yeah, so I just remember like my aunt got me a whole box set of it, a bunch of the Judy Moody books. Now when I try to look for these books, I have two left. Like they're like sitting on my shelf there, but I only have two left now. I have no idea where the rest went, because I literally think she got me from 1 all the way to like 12 or 1 to 10 or whatever the number was. So she got me quite a collection of them. So I don't know where they are today, but when I was younger, I flew through those and I read them multiple times. I was a big rereader from primary school all the way to like grade 8. I used to just reread my books. Then like when I was like in grade, I don't know, like 4 5, I don't know, then my mom would get me a book every month. So every year I would be having like probably 12 books or something. And then I also used to go to the library sometimes, so I'd also read from the library. So yeah, my mom also used to take me to the library. So I was a big bookworm growing up. I used to read. I used to even sometimes read till late. And then I stopped reading for a while because I didn't also go to the library for a while. And then I when I started reading again, I started reading with the Dork Diary books. Now as a 22-year-old, when I try to go back to those Dork Diary books, I can't do it. I'm actually slowly giving them away to my little cousin because I can't. I tried. I think the first time I tried again was when I was like 20 or 19. I couldn't do it. I tried, but Nikki's voice is so annoying. I can't. I don't know how I loved those books back then, but I really loved the Dork Diary books when I was younger, but I can't do it anymore. I can't. So I'm just slowly but surely letting someone of, you know, Nikki's in high school, but someone in primary school, like between the ages of 7 and 13, I think will enjoy those books. Because even when I was 13, 14, 15, I was still enjoying those Dork Diary books. But I think past that age, it just starts to read very young. So I used to read the Dork Diary books. And then after the Dork Diary books, what did I get into, man? I got into a little bit of the School for Good and Evil, got into a little bit of like the Mortal Instruments. I got into the Mortal Instruments because of my friend, like my best friend in grade 7. Her name was Tazy, and she's the one who got me into the Mortal Instruments. I was obsessed with the Mortal Instruments because of her. I don't know if I would like it now, but I was obsessed with the Mortal Instruments. I even got into like Ruby Redford and all these kind of people. And then like one of my favorites was also the Scarlet and Ivy series. This is where I started like really getting into mysteries and all that stuff. Yeah, like most of the books that I have on my shelf today, I'm literally looking at it right now, are from like primary school. Literally, when I think about it, most of them, not all, but most of them I got from primary school. I think there's a few I can count that I've gotten in recent years, because I hardly get books anymore. because books are just so expensive now. Books are so expensive. How my mom was coughing up a book or two every month, I don't know, because now we can't do that anymore. But literally, I used to, and I was a big rereader. I was such a big rereader. I used to reread books over and over again until I get the next one. Because also another issue, like when I was reading the Dork Diary books, is I'd read all of them and then I must wait. So while I'm waiting, I would reread. I'd reread the Dork Diary books, or I'd reread other series until I am able to get another book. So I loved reading ever since I was like in grade 4, I think. Yeah, that's when I got like proper introduced to reading, I think. And I started with the Judy Moody books, and then I just went off from there, and it was so nice. And now today, my reading taste, I don't know if I can say it's completely different, but it's definitely evolved from when I was younger, because I still love mystery. I still love what you call this, yeah, like a lot of the books are mystery and fantasy, funny enough, and then there's a little bit of romance. Yes, there was also another series that I also got into in primary school. It's the chocolate box girls. Yes, that whole series, loved that series. My favorite book was Marshmallow Sky. That was my favorite one, but I don't think it would be my favorite now, merely because she was also into like astrology and all that. If she was into astronomy, it would be different, because I love astronomy, but if it was astrology, I'm not into zodiac signs and all that stuff, no. So but I loved that because I don't know, she was just different from her sisters, and all of them are different in some way, shape or form. And then like the oldest one is the most rebellious and the most problematic, like, oh, that girl. But I loved that series as well, because each book, it's kind of like a there's like I don't know, I can't even say that. I can't say there's really a romance. Like Cherry's one, yes, but the other ones sort of. So yeah, so I didn't really read much romance growing up, funny enough, and I still technically, if you look at my shelves, there isn't that much romance. Even though I do love romance. I love fantasy, I love mystery. Mystery is my favorite genre, as well as fantasy. Thriller I got into a little bit as well, was super cool. But mystery, she always has my heart. So that's a little bit of how I got into reading, actually. And then also when I was like in high school, I did a little bit of reading as well from like the library as well. But because the workload in high school was a bit more than the workload in primary, I was like, I didn't read as much. But then, another series I forgot to talk about, Geek Girls. I was obsessed with those books, and I literally have a best friend. We're still friends till this day. We were Geek Girl lovers, and like we would compare every guy that we would like to a lion boy from Geek Girl. So we would literally be like, oh my gosh, is that your lion boy? Like we made Geek Girl like our whole, like our board, our board for like, who's a good man, okay, like who's someone, like, is he like Nick? If he's not like Nick, we don't want him. Because Nick was such a good guy. But yeah, anyway. So the Geek Girl series was also one that I was obsessed with, and now there's even a show of it now. It was nice. I think I like it. It's not, like the books, because I was reading it and I was like, Wilbur was not black, so I was like, ugh. But I'll just take it for what it is. I like it. It's cute, it's adorable. They are certain storylines that it's like, oh yeah, that was in the book, but other things, they've gone their own way, and I'm just trying not to be a purist, because I'm like, so many things. I'm like, this is a problem. But yeah, so that's a little bit about how I got into reading, and I love reading. I have been in many reading slumps since high school, because life has just been lifing in so many different ways. It's not even funny. And then also I got introduced to YouTube. YouTube is stealing my time. Other things are taking my time. People are taking my time. But I'm trying to prioritize reading again. And I think the things that got me into reading versus the things that are keeping me reading are not the same at all, because also it's just like the books that got me into reading were really books like towards kids, because I started reading like when I was young, versus now like I was in the middle grade area of reading. Like that was just me. And then now I'm not saying I'm not interested in middle grade, because there's some middle grade series that are still like super super good, and they work for people in middle grade, and they also work for adults as well. But a lot of middle grade books I don't think would work both ways. But most of the time now I'm primarily in YA, I won't lie. But I think I want to branch out into adult like books as well, adult fantasy, adult romance, adult things. Not necessarily because now the content can be more gory and more graphic, but there are just certain things that people don't, like, they can't go too deeply into in middle grade and YA that they can in adult. So I'm pretty excited to start like expanding into those areas. And now like when I was growing up, I didn't even know that Christian fiction existed. I only found out about Christian fiction in 2019 or 2020. Which year exactly? Between 2019 and 2020 I found out about Christian fiction, and I even found out about it through like my one Christian friend. It wasn't even through my parents or anything, it was through my friend. And I read Redeeming Love for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life? And then I read the Mark of the Lion series, the first and the second book. I still haven't read the third book till this day. And I was like, where has this been all my life? Where has this been? Why am I only being told about Christian fiction now? But I guess it's because my parents didn't even know Christian fiction existed. Otherwise, they probably would have had me read those books. But also, my dad is a big Christian, like a non-fiction reader. So, yeah. That's also where I started reading Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus, which is such a good book. But yeah, so that's a little bit about how I got into reading. So you guys can tell me in the comments, what are the books that got you into reading, and what are the kinds of books that you read now? Like, compare and contrast, what are the books you started with, if you can recall, and what are the series and books that you're currently reading now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you in another one. Bye guys.